Yo, this is Bench Gamer here. So after the 3.0 live stream and trailer drop for Sumeru, there have been some comments by Genshin content creators who have voiced their disappointment at some of the features or the lack thereof that were revealed during the 3.0 live stream. Now this isn't the interesting part to me because the things that people have been complaining about, they've been complaining about ever since they finished Spiral Abyss, which is, more endgame content, more multiplayer content, more difficult combat features that aren't just events that come and go, that aren't just story content that you do once and you can never do again. All of this stuff we have heard 1,000 times. What I find interesting is that when you go to these Genshin content creators' video comment sections, there are actually a lot of comments, a lot of people pushing back against the idea that the 3.0 live stream and trailer were disappointing. They're pushing back against this. Now, why is this interesting? Well, when you take a look at these Genshin content creators, they are some of the most successful content creators in the Genshin community. They are actually just some of the most successful content creators on YouTube in general. And they created their success based on their takes on Genshin Impact, right? So you would expect that their community would also back their opinions on Genshin Impact in general. But in this case, it seems that there is a divergence in opinions with the normal player base of Genshin compared to what the Genshin content creators are saying. Now, not all content creators are saying the same things. Not all content creators are disappointed. Maybe some are faking it, some are not. But it seems as though that the player base of Genshin Impact has come to a crossroads, or maybe they have already crossed it. On one hand, you have the people who like the game, who continue playing the game, and maybe they're also new players as well. And there is another strain of players who don't like the game, who are discontent with what Miho is releasing in terms of Genshin content, and they have either stopped playing the game or they have become marginalized in the Genshin community. So that, I think, is the main reason why we are seeing so much pushback against the idea that the 3.0 is disappointing before it even releases. I think it's very easy to say that these comments are just people who are sucking Miho's dick, or that these comments are paid for or bought for, or that they're just bots. But I think the more likely case is that they actually are enjoying what is being shown in the 3.0 live stream and trailer, whereas the Genshin content creators are a bit different because they're more like the people who have stopped enjoying the game because they have to play the game every single day. They have to make content for the game. They have to stream the game. And they're looking for something different now. They have explored all there is to do in Genshin Impact, whereas normal players don't have to do that. They don't have to play every day. They don't have to finish all the content in one go and give their opinions on it. These are just some of the basic things that are a bit different when you compare normal players to Genshin content creators. But the thing is that the Genshin content creators' opinions are also not wrong in my opinion. The basic facts that people are working with, the basic facts that the content creators are working with, and the video comments are also working with, are not different. Like we basically all agree that Genshin Impact is a game that you play for 20 minutes a day. You do your dailies, you do your commissions, you do your artifact runs, and then you're done with the game until the next time a big patch drops. And then you play the game for maybe like 2 hours a day for about 7 days. And once you're done with the story content, once you're done with the events, then you go back to the whole cycle of doing your dailies, doing your artifact runs until the next big patch, and everything starts all over again. There is very little endgame content. Spiral Abyss, almost pretty much everybody who has played the game in the first month or two of Genshin Impact's release can finish Spiral Abyss now, whether or not they're free-to-play players or pay-to-win players. You can almost reliably finish Spiral Abyss now. It's just a matter of time. And once you're done with Spiral Abyss, there is no harder content in the game. And this is something that both the commenters and the Genshin content creators acknowledge. These are the basic facts that we're working with. It's just that the people who are looking at the commenters who look at 3.0 and they see the content that has been revealed, which is frankly like 95% or 99% the same as 2.0, are okay with it. They're okay with the fact that 3.0 is going to be essentially a repeat of 2.0 with some minor differences that I'll go into. And they're okay with it, whereas the Genshin content creators are like, wait a minute, we've already been through this. And I don't think it's just the content creators as well. I myself am a little less interested in some specific ways for 3.0 compared to 2.0. And this is just a matter of Genshin Impact being an older game now. We're not going to be as excited for getting the same things that we had already gotten in 2.0. 2.0 was of course the first major region to be added to Genshin Impact, whereas 3.0 is the second time we're going to get that. So getting the same things again, not going to be as exciting. And as for the specific things that they revealed in 3.0, let's just compare it to 2.0 for a second, okay? So here are some small differences. In 2.0, for the 2.0 banners, we got Ayaka and Yoimiya, two new 5-star characters, and Sayu, one 4-star character. And at this point, I don't think the double banners existed yet, so it's a bit hard to do a one-for-one comparison. Whereas in 3.0, we got two double banners in the first half as well as the second half of 3.0. In the first half, we have, okay, so in terms of new characters, we have one new 5-star character, Tignari, and two new 4-star characters. And both of the new characters in the first banner are Dendro characters, and they're both bow characters. So I think that does decrease a bit of excitement for the new characters. The fact that they're both Dendro and bow characters, I think it is a tiny bit weird, but I guess that's what happens when you have to have a Kalei in the game, because she was already in the manga, so we had to have Kalei. She was in the manga, she was going to Sumeru, we already knew if she existed. It's kind of like Ayaka in this sense, because Ayaka was also in the Traveler's Travail trailer. So she was basically the poster child for Inazuma, and she was also in the beta as well. So she's one of the first characters that Genshin Impact that MiHoYo designed in the first place. So in this sense, Kalei and Ayaka both sort of occupy the same niche when it comes to how they're being released. The difference is that Kalei is a 4-star character, whereas Ayaka is a 5-star character. So I think this does decrease the excitement a little bit for Sumeru. And the 5-star character that we are getting, Tignari, he didn't really exist in the story. He didn't really exist in Genshin Impact until the leaks started happening for Sumeru and before the Sumeru advertising started. So yeah, that does also decrease the excitement a little bit. As for the 4-star character, like the Electro character, I'm pretty sure I like her design a lot, but people most likely aren't going to pull for her. It's always a bad idea to pull for a 4-star character just to get a 4-star character on these banners, because if you don't like the 5-star characters, then your pity is going to get fucked. So I don't know how many people are going to vote for her. I personally probably won't unless I pull. I'm still deliberating on whether or not I'll pull for Ganyu. So yeah. As for Tignari himself, I've heard some mixed comments on him, because if you didn't know already, Tignari will be entering the standard banner after 3.1, and I have heard some mixed comments on this. On one hand, you have the people who are a bit bummed out, like me. I'm part of that crowd, because he's going to be part of that roster of characters that you might lose 50-50 to. And of course, there's always the chance that you will get him randomly while pulling on the on the standard banner. So that's one side of opinions on him. On the other side, you have people who have also accurately noted that once he gets relegated to the 3.1, the post 3.1 standard banner, he is actually going to be one of the rarer Dendro 5-star characters to get, because there will be no way to reliably get a specific character on the standard banner unless they reveal a standard, like an epitomized path mechanic for standard banner, which I don't think they will. If they had done that, they would have done it in the 3.0 livestream. So I don't think that will be happening. Okay. Actually, I'm not sure about that. Just scrap that. Maybe they will reveal a epitomized path for standard banner in 3.2. I'm not sure. But as far as we know, that's not happening. So if he does get added to the standard banner post 3.1, he will be one of the rarest 5-star characters you will be able to get, because there is no way to like efficiently get him unless you spend an ungodly amount of money and turn into a Leviathan whale. You're not going to be able to get him. He's not going to be on a limited banner, and you won't be able to gather pity for him. That's just how things work. So depending on how you view things, he might be more attractive than not. But on the other hand, in 2.0, in 2.0 we got 2 5-star characters instead of like just one 5-star character in 3.0, but a lot of people forget that Yoimiya essentially got fucked by Raiden Shogun, right? Because not a lot of people wanted to pull for her. Ayaka was the more attractive of the duo, and Yoimiya was always going to be compared with Raiden Shogun. People were saving up their Primo Gems for Raiden Shogun, who we knew was releasing soon after in 3.1, since that's when the story ended. So even though we had 2 new 5-star characters, it's almost as if we only got 1 new 5-star character. And I think that's part of the reason why we only got 1 new 5-star in 3.0, because MiHoYo knows that a lot of players are going to be saving up for the Dendro Archon, and that might be why they're not front loading all of the content for Sumeru onto 3.0, and I think this is actually a smart choice. But aside from that, we also got 3 returning characters. We got Zhongli, we've got Ganyu, and we've got Kokomi. All of them are somewhat meta characters, Ganyu more so than others. Kokomi has basically found her place in the meta as well. Really good Hydro Applicator. Zhongli, of course, he's like a cheat code in this game. He basically just trivializes every single combat in this game. I kind of regret pulling for him for that reason. So that's basically it in terms of the Event Wish banners for characters. In my opinion, it is a bit more disappointing that we only get 1 5-star character, but I also acknowledge that the comments that people make about Ignari in terms of his standard banner status are also correct. He's going to be one of the rarer 5-star characters unless we get an epitomized path for standard banner wishes. And it's also a bit disappointing that we're not getting a second 5-star character, but I also understand why they're doing that. Yoimiya, not many people pulled for her. And as for the weapons, also pretty standard. In 3.0, we're only getting 1 new 5-star character, so of course there's going to be only 1 new 5-star limited banner weapon. And this fish weapon, end of the line, looks a lot like the catch to me in terms of its theme, but nothing has been said about its availability, maybe availability as a free weapon. So as far as I know, this is just going to be a new 4-star weapon that's going to be on the weapon banner. So pretty much the same thing. We got 2 new 5-star characters in 2.0. So of course, 2 5-star limited banner weapons, 5 craftable weapons for Inazuma, 5 craftable weapons for Sumeru, same thing. 2 new artifact sets in Sumeru, in Inazuma, 2 new artifact sets for Sumeru and Inazuma, same thing. The events as well, almost completely the same. In 2.0, we got a free Beto. In 3.0, we are getting a free Kalei. And I think this is just a way for MiHoYo to give us something to play with in terms of Dendro content. Because Sumeru, the Sumeru Traveler, the Dendro Traveler, is probably going to be like a scuffed version. Like, let's be honest. Most of the Traveler versions, Traveler Elementals, are not the best things in the world, so they're maybe just going to give us a free Dendro character to keep us occupied. As for 2.0, I already had a C6 Beto at this point, or at least I think I was pretty close to C6. So this wasn't the most exciting thing for me. She's also not a new character, so not really that great. And I think the 3.0 version is a bit more exciting for this reason. And everything else is essentially the same. Lost Riches and Leyline Overflow are the exact same events we're getting as we got in 2.0. Phantom Flow and Stage of Wonders are different from what we're getting in 3.0, which is tablet analytics and phase trials. But I'm sure that the actual rewards will be the exact same. So those are pretty much the same as well. So those are the infographics that were released. Pretty much exactly the same. There are some minor differences as well that they announced. For example, in terms of, let's just read this. Okay, so new characters, pretty much the same thing. Event wishes, pretty much the same thing. 2.0, new characters, covered that. New Traveler Element, who cares? New weapons, cover that. Event wishes, cover that. New artifacts, cover that. New region, that's just region of specific content. New events, cover that. New quest, who cares? New systems, right? So Serena Teapot Gardening. I've seen some comments that the 2.0 patch, the 2.0 livestream, revealed more significant changes to the basic systems of Genshin Impact than 3.0. But I'm not sure if I agree on that. For example, if you look at the gardening system, this is basically just the same thing as what was revealed in 3.0. It's just another quality of life, make this game easier. You get more rewards, for doing the exact same things in Genshin Impact. It doesn't change how we play the game. You get more rewards by picking up flowers or whatever, and then you put them in your Serenity pot, and you get more rewards. And you don't even get that much more, so it's whatever. Artifact Spawn Box, I know a lot of people like this system because it makes farming artifacts easier, but again, it's just something that makes what you're already doing in the game easier. It's not that revolutionary. Secret Sakura's favor. I don't know why this is considered a new system. We basically already had the same thing in Dragon Spine. We had the Ermin Soul Frostbearing Tree. This is basically the exact same thing. So this isn't a new feature. Electrograna is region specific content. Inazuma reputation system. Okay. I really love what they did with the Inazuma reputation system. It made things a lot easier. But again, this is just something that makes the game easier, not fundamentally changing how we play the game. New special weapon wish mechanic epitomized path. This is a lie. Like I don't know why people say that epitomized path is like this big thing that happened to the weapon banner. The weapon banner went from complete dog shit before epitomized path to pretty dog shit after epitomized path. I think this is actually just like some kind of mind fuck game that MiHoYo played with players to try to convince them that weapon banner is actually legitimately okay to wish on, but it's still not. It's just less shit now. If you're a whale, this is probably still good for you, but you know, you're probably still going to get the weapon you wanted, even if you didn't have epitomized path. This is probably a virtue of being a Leviathan level whale who wishes on the weapon banner. So in my opinion, epitomized path is actually kind of a lie. It doesn't change how you play the game, and it doesn't change the fact that if you're a free-to-play player, you're still not supposed to pull on the weapon banner. This is actually like a boon to whales specifically. It doesn't really matter to free-to-play players, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you view the game. So don't really care about that. Crafting bench function, Mystic Offering. Mystic Offering, isn't that the exact same thing as the Artifact Strong Box? So is a crafting method available at crafting benches at Adventure rank 45 to perform alchemy. 3 5-star artifacts can be sacrificed to obtain an artifact strong box. Okay, this is the exact same thing. Why is this listed differently? Adventure Handbook, the commission quest, region selection. Really good quality of life features, but again, same thing. It's not changing how we play the game, it's just a quality of life change. New gameplay, this is all region specific. New domains, region specific. New monsters, okay, region specific. New gadgets. Seed dispensary, we already covered that above. Red feather fan, nobody cares about gliding faster. Electroculus, electro trevage compass, memento lens, mini silly. These are all region specific. So same thing as 3.0. New furnishings, nobody cares. New recipes, nobody cares. New achievements, more primo gems. New name cards, nobody cares. New animals, nobody cares. New materials, nobody cares. Spiral Bits, same thing as 3.0. So basically 95% of the things we've seen is the same as 3.0. Now let's look at some of the gadgets they revealed. And I admit, this also is a bit disappointing to me. It's just that I don't think it's that much different in terms of the disappointment level I have with the things revealed in 3.0 livestream compared to 2.0 is not that different. So what did we get? We got the boon of the Elder Tree. What is that? It is used to obtain wood materials from nearby trees. So it basically just allows us to gather wood in densely populated woody areas easier. But this is completely useless to me because one, I already have Arataki Ito, so I can just gather things even easier. Why would I need this? I don't play the Serenity Teapot game that much. I do play it, but at this point, I've done everything I can. I filled my Serenity Teapot with furniture. I don't need this anymore. It's not important to me. And it just makes what we already do in the game easier. Ultra Hot Burner Lamp Test Model. What does this do? It consumes ores to increase the efficiency in processing food. What the fuck? Nobody cares. Okay, let's just skip this. Fishing line stabilizer. I think this makes fishing easier. So if you already have the catch, this is completely useless to you. But if you don't have the catch, then I think this could be very useful. I have the catch, so this is nothing to me. Don't care. Mini Sealy Moss. Don't care about mini Sealies. I already treat Sealies enough. I don't want one floating around my head. And it's just region-specific content, so don't care. So new materials, don't care. New monster drops, don't care. New gadgets, don't care. New wildlife, whatever, region-specific content. New monsters, region-specific content. New domains, same thing. New gameplay, same thing. New events, same thing. New quest, same thing. New elemental reactions. Now here is why I'm still excited for Sumeru. And this sometimes gets lost in all of the talk about the lack of endgame, the lack of, new things, is the fact that we are getting essentially what is the first actual combat update we have gotten since the start of Genshin Impact, which is that we're actually going to get the Dendro element. And this isn't just restricted to Sumeru as well, because we're getting new reactions to it. And a lot of people forget that we actually do have Dendro slimes in parts of the world in, I think, Mondstadt and also Liyue. Maybe not Liyue, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure there are Dendro slimes in Mondstadt, and there are also Dendro Lawatros, I think those little guys who summon those shitty vines that you can get stuck on and get hurt by. So once this Dendro element is released in the 3.0 patch, this also does affect how we play the game from the very start to a very small degree, but it does affect it. We will have Dendro reactions when we face these Dendro slimes back in Mondstadt. So if I replay the game, it is going to change the game a little bit. And I am excited for that. I think Dendro is going to be an interesting element, not just because mostly because it makes my Electro characters more meta. I'm still hoping that cutscene will finally be good. And yeah, they did show a bit of cutscene in one of the teasers. So okay, maybe this is just me being very biased, but yeah, that's mainly why I'm excited for Sumeru as of right now. So yeah, Dendro, very exciting. Everything else is pretty much exactly the same. I will say that I am worried about people who are more excited for Dendro than they probably should be, because there are still some restrictions to how Dendro is presented, right? Again, we're only going to get 3 new Dendro characters in 3.0. We're going to get Tignari, 1 5-star character, 1 5-star Dendro, Kalei, another 4-star Dendro, and of course, the Dendro Traveler, who you can't see 6 until at least 3.2. So you have to remember that these are still characters at the end of the day, and you still have to get them to actually use Dendro. And then your characters will have to have actual synergy with these characters. These characters are still going to have intrinsic mechanics that are either going to be good or bad. I don't believe that MiHoYo will gimp these characters, because they have to have a good showing on the first day of Dendro, of Sumeru. But the reality is that they're not going to be universal characters. There are barely any characters in this game that are universal. Bennett used to be a universal character. He is less so now, because there are characters who skill off of different stats, like HP, like defense, and there are elemental specific buffers now as well. So Bennett is no longer universal, and the same thing will be it will be the same thing with Dendro. Just because you have a 5-star Dendro character doesn't mean that this Tignari character will be good with every single character. Just because you have Kalei doesn't mean that they will go with every single, Electro or Hydro character. There will probably still be Hydro or Electro characters that don't benefit as much from these characters as you would think. And I do fear that people who are so excited for Dendro will be burned with 3.0, because these characters don't match up with their existing characters as much as they had hoped. So that is my one concern with Dendro. Some further changes. They announced that in Sumeru, the game's story will be lengthened to last from 3.0 all the way to 3.2. So let's just watch this for a second.
3.0 版本中，续密的魔神任务第一幕穿越烟尾与暗灵和第二幕千朵玫瑰带来的黎明都会向玩家朋友们开放，而整个续密的主线剧情将会从 3.0 一直贯穿到 3.2， 连续3个版本放送给大家。
So yeah, this is one of the major differences in my opinion compared to 2.0, because in Inazuma, the Archon quest, you probably know, lasted from 2.0 to 2.1, only 2 patches. We got 2 acts in the first patch, I think it says so. Yeah, we got Archon quest chapter 2, 2 acts, which is interestingly enough the same thing as 3.0. We're also going to get 2 acts in the first patch. but the storyline is going to last from 3.0 to 3.2. So I'm a bit worried about this, and at the same time, I'm also excited because this could mean that we are going to get more than 3 acts. But I am also worried that this will not be the case. So we don't know how they are going to lengthen the story yet. They could just add more acts to the game. Maybe Sumeru will have 4 acts so that we get 2 acts in 3.0 and then we'll get another act in 3.1 and another act in 3.2. But as far as I know, that isn't going to be the case. They haven't announced anything about that yet. So how are they going to do that? Are we going to get an epilogue in 3.2 and the main story ends in 3.1? Or are we going to get like some kind of filler in 3.1 and then get the final story arc in 3.2? My fear is that in 3.1 we're going to get like some bullshit Archon interlude and then we're going to go on a tea party quest with James Leaf and do something, and we're just going to ignore what happens in Sumeru. I don't think that will happen, but I think it is a possibility that could happen, that MiHoYo will go full stupid and just fuck this whole story up. Again, very unlikely, but it is something I worry about. So we'll just have to see. On the bright side, if they do go with the lengthened story with 4 acts, or essentially 3 acts and an epilogue, it does mean that it probably won't be as rushed as Inazuma's story, which is something I've complained about since the very beginning of this channel. It's actually how I started this channel. And another different thing is that they have lengthened the duration, not lengthened, but reduced the duration of each patch from 3.0 to 3.3 by 1 week. So each patch now is only going to last for 5 weeks instead of 6 weeks normally, which was everything prior to 3.0. So essentially, from the end of August to the beginning of December, we're going to save 3 weeks of patch time. And I think what this basically means is that they're trying to make up for lost time during the Shanghai lockdown. And I'm not sure if this is going to be permanent. It's probably not, because they say that the duration of versions 3.0 to 3.2. So it's probably not going to be a permanent thing. Actually, I'm not sure if it's just 3 patches. It doesn't say 3.3. So maybe this is only going to be 2 weeks of downtime that we're removing. Actually, we should just listen to this for a second. I'm not totally sure.
会调整为5周，我们也会相应的调整版本内容计划，但不会因此减少每个版本的玩法内容。
好的。
Oh, so yeah, it is. So from what I gather from this, it says the duration of version 3.0 to 3.2. So yeah, it's going to be 3 weeks of downtime that gets removed from the start of 3.0 to 3.3. So 3 weeks of downtime, not 2 weeks, are going to be removed from the end of August to the beginning of December. And that's basically what they're doing to, make up for the Shanghai lockdown. Pretty good. The pace of patches is moving slightly faster, and I'm pretty sure they have all of the content already finished. I am a bit worried. There's always the possibility that the quality and quantity of the content will go down, in reflection of the decreased patch time. They're going to have less time to do bug fixes and all that nonsense. But it's also possible, like looking on the bright side, that they will probably have had all this content already finished, and they're probably already working on Fontaine, so it's not that big of a deal. So all in all, 3.0 and 2.0 are pretty much 95% the same thing, with some minor adjustments to the patch cycle, with some minor adjustments to the way the story is told. It might be more major than you would think, or minor depending on how much you value the story. I don't know. But going back to the comments, it seems that the Genshin content creators and the commenters who are pushing back against the disappointment are just working with the same set of facts, that this is what Genshin Impact is. You're either fine with it or you're not. It's not that big of a deal, in my opinion. It's just that the game has gotten older. The population of the player base has gotten more solidified. It has come together and become a more unanimous voice. The popularity of Genshin Impact is also fading a bit. Not to the extent that I really care about, but of course, with a more solidified player base, it also comes less of a player base. Like when you search Genshin in Genshin Impact, right? there obviously is still a lot of interesting Genshin Impact, just perhaps not particularly for the 3.0 live stream and trailer. If you look at the number of views, the trailer for 3.0 is 2.8 million, whereas the teaser for Sumeru is 4.2 million. So maybe there is some validity to the fact that the 3.0 live stream and trailer were not the most exciting things ever. And of course, you can't really compare the two because people saw the trailer and live stream first on Twitch. So they probably don't really feel the need to go watch it again, whereas the teaser trailer was first revealed on YouTube. And of course, if you look at the Harbinger trailer, that's literally 10 million views. So obviously, still extremely popular. Not actually, this more so indicates that people are more excited for the Harbingers than Sumeru. So take it as we will. I think this is just an indication that Genshin Impact players are getting older now. The game is getting older, and it's just more of a unanimous voice, and people are finding what they like about Genshin Impact. The people who like Genshin Impact are still playing the game, and the people who don't like Genshin Impact have stopped playing the game, with the exception of some Genshin content creators. So yeah, that's basically my take on 3.0 compared to 2.0. I am still very excited for Sumeru. I'm going to play Sumeru the moment it comes out. So see you guys later. This is Bench Gamer signing out.